Video games could be perceived as violent, lazy, and a waste of time. And that debate has been raged on for years. But little did they know that video games are actually good for kids, or anyone as a matter of fact. They teach valuable life lessons, improve hand-eye coordination, teamwork, and problem-solving skills. And it is about time that society appreciates video games. Let's play a game. The objective of this game is to look at the words on the screen and say what color they are in as fast as you can. As we continued, it was more difficult because there was a conflict with the word itself and the color. The chances are, if you play more than 5 to 10 hours of action games a week, you will be able to solve these problems more quickly since your brain will be more active in the areas associated with attention. A mental analysis and a training study have proven that shooter video games show that participants have more accurate attention allocation, higher spatial resolution and visual processing, and enhanced mental rotation ability.
So in the same way that we actually see the effects of video games on people's behavior, we can use brain imaging and look at the impact of video game on the brain. And we do find many changes, but the main changes are actually to the brain networks that control attention.
Video games hold immense potential to teach new forms of thoughts and behavior. It provides motivation and engages the player. Objectives allow players to challenge themselves and keep trying until they succeed. At the end of all their hard work, they are usually met with a reward, whether it is a game item or an achievement unlocked to motivate the player to keep challenging themselves. This is known as operant conditioning. Most video games these days are multiplayer, which allows you to play with other people around the world. Multiplayer teaches you that if you have a bad team and do not work together, you'll probably lose, and this also goes for single-player games as well. For example, in StarCraft, you have to micromanage your team to do certain jobs and keep your military base standing as long as possible. You cannot do everything with just a single character, so sometimes you need a team where everyone does their part well in order to keep the group alive and accomplish the mission.
Covering the day that no one will forget. On December 14th, 20-year-old Adam Lanza killed his mother in their home and then stormed Sandy Hook Elementary School, killing 20 first graders and 6 adults before killing himself.
Adam Lanza, a 20-year-old, walked into a school in Connecticut and fired on a few children before turning the gun on himself. As usual, we see the media jumping onto the chance to politicize and make a lot of money off of covering the tragedy in as much detail as possible and making the blood count of the victims the main story on the news. One of the most popular newspapers in the UK, The Sun, publicized this incident as an effect due to video games, more specifically Call of Duty. This is a strange claim because just a while ago, before this publication, they covered the story on Call of Duty in a positive way as they hyped up the game and even provided information to a Black Ops 2 launch event in which players could get early access to the game. Another media webpage, the Daily Express, claimed that Lanza was obsessed with a violent war game called the Dynasty Warriors, which may have given him the inspiration to his darkest thoughts. However, Dynasty Warriors is a Japanese game based on the Kingdom novels, and it is a game that contains no bloody violence of any description, and it is impossible to kill any player in the game as they simply run off engine and come back later. The cartoon graphics have no predications whatsoever of being a realistic depiction of violence. Many studies have proven that video games and violent crimes in real life have no correlation. Numerous authorities such as the U.S. Supreme Court and the Federal Trade Commission have explained the scientific records to show that the violent programming of video games does not have any causal links with a person's violent behavior. Next time you hear someone blaming video games for real-world violences, just know that it is not any more productive than blaming the news media for bringing in violent crimes through the television every night during dinner.